So if you were telling me I was visiting Indianapolis or hell, the state of Indiana, my first thought would be the Fever. I'm going to go to a Fever game. That's what I'm doing. I might just go there to go to a Fever game, right? That is the appeal of Indianapolis and Indiana right now. No offense to anybody from there who likes other things. I've been there for the Super Bowl. It's a good host city for plenty of stuff. They just had the Royal Rumble there, right? But when it comes to just like instant reaction, that's what I think of. The feature attraction, the fever attraction of Indianapolis. And there was just a Visit Indy tourism event that Caitlin Clark and some members of the Fever were there as a part of. I mean, Clark was up on the dais and had a funny response when asked about noisemakers. She's there with Amber Cox and Kelly Crosscup, as you can see right there, the brass of the Fever.
Caitlin, you're 90.6% from the free throw line. My question is, do the noisemakers make a difference when you're shooting free throw?
Well, usually all the fans are cheering for us, so be quiet.
And that statement could apply for home or away. That's why some fans had fun with it. Obviously, like when you're asking at an indie tourist event, of course, the atmosphere in Gainbridge is not going to be trying to distract Caitlin Clark at the free throw line. And then on top of that, there is, the road atmosphere where the Fever are cheered almost everywhere they go. I mean, they're essentially, an attraction for the visiting team or the home team when they're visiting. You know what I mean? So just a bit of a funny response. But Clark, also in town, and you saw some photos being shared. She's there with Natasha Howard, Tamika Catchings, past, present, future of the Fever. So just it was cool to see Clark and Howard connect and get to know one another, because I think that connection is going to be absolutely incredible for the Fever come next season. I think it's maybe the most slept on of all the things that's being talked about. And I've talked about it at length. And then, of course, DeWanna Bonner comes in, and the Fever officially announced that yesterday. They put together a little highlight package of DeWanna Bonner and what she's bringing over from the Sun. Pull up in Collier's face right there. It's an impressive clip to start any highlight mixtape. There's a deep pull. So a lot of versatility, I think, is what you get from DeWanna Bonner. That's the key word for her. She's got size. She can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions, finish at the basket, away from the basket. They must be obsessed with Clark, all these threes. You could show it, you mix it up a little bit here with DB. Give me some variety in these highlights. I'm talking about her versatility. There we go. Thank you. Nice strong take and finish. And of course, with DeWanna Bonner, not only do you have her proven pedigree and what she was able to accomplish and has been able to accomplish throughout her WNBA career, but you have her established relationship with Stephanie White. And Stephanie White vouching for DeWanna Bonner. Not that she needed to be vouched for, wrong word, but Stephanie White's experience with DeWanna Bonner, and then DeWanna Bonner choosing the Indiana Fever. I mean, those two things had to be connected, right? I doubt it was just, a complete coincidence. Other than the Fever would be appealing to anybody regardless, given the current state of affairs. But as is, I mean, that had to be one of the key lures for Bonner, who in the press release said this about joining the team. I'm extremely thankful to be joining an organization that's on the rise and committed to growing the sport of women's basketball. I'm looking forward to coming in, sharing my leadership and knowledge, and doing my part to help this team get back to its championship pedigree. But more importantly, I'm excited to get to know everyone at the organization, the front office, teammates, behind-the-scenes employees, and of course, the fans. I can't wait to see everyone at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in May. And I've talked over and over again about how dangerous I think this team is going to be, what these moves mean for them. But you don't have to just take my word. You can also listen to Candace Parker talk about these moves for the Indiana Fever. This was posted on Bleacher Report from the Unrivaled pregame show the other day.
Or if you think about what Caitlin Clark and what Aaliyah Boston are doing, you think about their growth, having two players that have won championships coming in and being that solid vet. I think that's going to be huge for their organization. And so I think that that's one of those quiet free agency moves that has
better
been
not
made.
be quiet. This is DeWanna Bonner.
And then, but I mean, in terms of like, everybody's talking about Atlanta, everybody's talking about Phoenix, but I think what people should be talking about more is Indiana and their addition. You talk about shooters on shooters on shooters. It's going to be tough to guard them.
It's funny because I don't know who was talking about the Dream. I don't know all these people that were talking about these other teams, the Mercury, really. Maybe there's a bit of a bubble in that coverage area. But regardless, the sentiment stands from the great Candace Parker there, and it's something that I've brought up. The Fever, I don't think there's anything you can do with them. If they're healthy and they're complete out on the court, I think they can beat you any which way. They can outshoot you. They can outrun you. They can outcreate you. It's going to be problematic. So any of those things I was just talking about when it comes to being a tourist attraction, it's only going to get bigger and better. Because there was a little bit of a novelty with the Fever last year. Oh, Caitlin Clark's a rookie. Oh, let's see what this hype is about. Now we know it's established. We know, one, it wasn't going to go away. Like, I think people thought for a minute it was Tebow mania when it was much more Michael Jordan, right? But it didn't go away. And now we know it's here to stay. Not just the hype, of course, but the product behind the hype. Because hype itself will dwindle if there's not substance to it. But the substance to the Fever is now clear and apparent and only going to get better from here. And you could just tell, I think Caitlin knows it. You can tell how excited Howard is. I'm sure we'll hear from Bonner in more than just quotes soon enough. And Sophie Cunningham was also very pumped about joining the teams, because you don't have any people coming in there begrudgingly. You know, everybody who's coming in is knowing what they're signing up for and knowing what it is, and knowing when you're in Indianapolis, Indiana, the show you're there to see is the Indiana Fever. That's why people are, going to come to town. That's what people in town are going to do. That's what people in out-of-town markets are going to watch. And hell, that's what people in out-of-town markets are going to cheer too if it continues the phase theme from last year. Though I do believe with the rise of the WNBA, you'll see more support for those other teams going forward too, which ultimately is a great thing for the league.